fun fact, I was a barber. So I used to cut hair. Like I've never really had a 9 to 5, never really been good at it, but I used to cut hair. But most importantly, that's when I really started to develop a love for music. I used to always do talent shows, but I never believed that I can like do it. So when I first started like cutting hair and I got a taste of a little bit, I mean, you 17, you just think you running things, you think you think you're your own boss. I started cutting hair and I started realizing that I got a love for music and I wanted to start investing in it a certain way. So I started cutting hair and I was very successful at it. They know me. I was successful. I was passing out lineups. I was good.
How did you learn?
I taught myself. I did. Like, I'm a huge believer in teaching yourself. I don't believe that people can give more to you than what you can give for yourself. So when I first picked up clippers, I didn't really know how to do it. Now, I ain't gonna say I did everybody right. I used to fuck up some headlines. Like, I ain't gonna say everybody was happy. But what I will say is I was courageous enough to get out there and learn. So when I first started cutting hair, I just started. I had a pair of clippers, and I walked in the barbershop like I knew what I was doing. And he found out later on I didn't know what I was doing. But I let him think I knew what I was doing. And I went in there, and after a while, he just taught me. And I just started to create a lifestyle around that. So music kind of tied into me cutting hair, and that was also awesome, too.
And you were cutting men's hair?
I was cutting men's hair with long stiletto nails, cutting men hair. Like, I might have cut some off, I might have cut some bald, but I cut it.
How did other men feel about a female cutting their hair?
Oh, they used to give me the biggest issue. Like, when females have to cut their hair, they like used to kind of look at me funny, like, I don't know. But I used to always try to make them feel comfortable. Like, again, I know how to accommodate. I'm really good at dealing with people, so I know how to accommodate. So even though they were worried, I always reassured them they had nothing to worry about. And I made sure I did the best that I can do, because my barber that actually hired me, he taught me how to actually correct a lot of different things. So it's not like I was just shit the whole time.
And this was happening when you were in high school?
This happens after I got out of high school. So when I went in high school, when I got pregnant with my daughter, I left high school. And in those 9 months, I had her. After I had her, I started cutting hair to provide. So that was that time span. But when I stopped cutting hair is when I went to North Carolina, because I wanted to change the scenery. I did. I wanted to change the scenery. It was over.
Now, just with the few different facets you've provided in this interview, I want to explore some of them. First, I want to explore your biological parents. You mentioned your father in this interview. What happened to your mother?
My mom had 5 children, and she's always been there. My mom has always been there. My mom raised 5 children like by herself, so you can only imagine how that is as far as in the development of a child. My mom had 5 kids, so my mom has always been there. Growing up wasn't always really easy. I didn't really get a lot of things handed to me. Truth be told, I had to be creative because a lot of things other kids had, I didn't have. Like, I didn't have toys. I had to create them. Like, everything I had to do, I had to create. So it wasn't foreign to me to be an entrepreneur. It wasn't foreign to me to just take my own initiative to be able to have fun with myself. So with 5 kids, ain't nobody got no toys. So now we playing with shoelaces. Now we playing with socks. We making Barbie clothes out of socks. Like, I'm cutting the sides so she got her arms to come out of it. Like, this is just what we did. Like, we had fun doing it. So my childhood was creative. So my mom has always been there. So as far as her being able to provide the life that other kids might have had, we didn't have that, but we wasn't mad we didn't have it. If anything, we was kind of a little grateful because we didn't have to depend on certain things. Like, my mom, she didn't really teach us the value of money. She really taught us the value of ourselves. So we didn't have to depend on, not having a dollar, because even though we knew we didn't have it, I mean, hell, we ain't had no money. We knew we didn't have it. It didn't spoil the good times. We played games together. And again, we grew up together. It's 5 kids, so.
Different fathers for the children, though.
Different fathers, yep.
So, okay, you grow up and you live with your mom at first?
I did. I live with my mom. Mm-hmm.
And your grandparents are still living, on your father's side, your grandparents are still living in New York. They have this property in North Carolina. At what point, do you actually live under the roof of your grandparents growing up, or do you just visit them from time to time?
I lived with my mom, and I would go with my grandparents every summer. So I'm talking about from Yeha. I lived with my grandparents at one point from 6 to 7. So she kept me for a school year where I wanted to go back home because I was used to siblings. I wasn't used to being at my grandma's house by, I'm the only kid, got a little boring. I'm like, Grandma, like, I need some kids. So she kept me for a year from like 6 to 7, but I've always seen my grandparents because I visited them every summer. Literally, we went somewhere every summer, and that was a different reality because my grandfather, he really did show me a different side of life. He would come and he would pick us up and we would go everywhere. There wasn't no place we couldn't go. So that's how the relationship was built. I lived with my mom. I stayed with my mom my whole life, but every summer I would go with my grandparents. Mm-hmm.
Now, were you the only child of your mother and father?
Yes, me. Yep. I'm the only child. I like it that way.
And as far as your father's concerned, he's still incarcerated today?
He is. He is still incarcerated.
Care to share what he's incarcerated for?
I wish I could. We haven't had that conversation yet. We haven't had that conversation because I think it's something for him to kind of just wait till he come out so he can physically have that conversation, but he just never really wanted to talk about it. So I would go see him. I would go see him in jail. And I remember when I was like 6 years old, the first time I actually went to go see him. And I didn't really understand where he was. So I thought he could come home with me. My first reaction was, oh, you know, my dad is home. He can come home with me. I thought he was taking me to his house. So I thought the jail was his house. So when I went to go see him, I'm thinking he's home and he's going to come back to my house. So at 6 years old, trying to kind of comprehend why your daddy can't leave with you, it was a hard pill to swallow because them jail doors is loud, okay? And that slam is hard. So that was like that with my dad. We did a lot of going back and forth to see him, but I never really understood what he was locked up for because I don't think he ever really wanted to tell me. But it never stopped him from motivating me. He always drew me pictures. He always drew me cards. He never missed a birthday. He never missed a holiday. And he never missed a phone call. My father still tells me happy birthday. And he still tells me he loves me. And he's created a very strong woman. So I applaud him from being behind bars because there's a lot of people that's out that couldn't be half of the man he was. My father has sent me money. My father has bought me school clothes. Like, my father has been the best father he can be behind bars, and I give him that respect. So to know what he's locked up for, I'll take that time because I haven't really felt the absence mentally. I felt it physically, but I didn't feel it mentally. But, I mean, that's my daddy.
And this is state or federal prison?
This is federal prison. Is it federal prison? When you upstate, he's like in Pennsylvania. So I want to say that's federal. I think he's past state, yeah.
Because if he was state prison, if he's from New York, he would be in New York.
Okay, yeah, he's federal. And they moved him like 3 times, so we did a lot of traveling trying to keep up with him.
Unless, I guess, maybe he got in trouble in a different state.
He did. From when he got locked up, for what I understand, he was originally born in New York, but he got in trouble in Philly. But he was originally locked up in Philly, but they moved him even further up, so...
So he could be in state prison in Pennsylvania.
And I think he is in Pennsylvania, so he might be in state. But I just don't really have those conversations with him because that's a soft spot for me. I ain't gonna lie, that's a very soft spot for me. Like, cause that's my dad. Like, regardless of anything, that's my dad. So I'd rather not look at his predicament and look at his achievements because he's achieved a lot. Like, I don't really know too much about his prison life, but I know a lot about what he's done while he has spent that time in there. And he's been very proactive and productive. He got his lawyer degree. I mean, he don't seem like he's missing no meals. I mean, he's very well off for who he is. So overall, he's taking that time, whatever time that was, to be proactive in his predicament. And I just...
Go ahead.
Oh, and I just hope that it supports him when he get out. Because there's a lot of people that go in there and they waste their time and do nothing. So I know my father is not one of those people. So really just trying to get the backstory on him. I never really focused on where he was and, you know, what his situation was. I always focused on who he's been to me. And he was a great dad to me, so. That's my daddy.
Never even got curious.
Huh?
Never even got curious.
I didn't get curious because I didn't have to. I didn't have to. I'm an individual kid. Like, nothing, you ain't really got to walk me through a lot. So I just feel like if I know the basics that you love me, I'm okay with that. If I know that you here and I'm getting school clothes and I'm still getting certain things on time, I don't have to be curious because there's no void there that needs to be filled. You got to understand, he in jail and there's no void there. Like, you know how many people can't say that? Like, there's no void there. I have the perfect father. Like, there was nothing wrong with the upbringing that he brought me. It's just that he wasn't there physically. And I never wanted to ask him about that because to me, I just feel like that's something that I feel like he can explain when we're face to face. That's a physical conversation. I don't need that over no phone call. He might not want to even talk about it over phone call. Look where he at. He in the jungle. He ain't got time for that. He in the jungle. So I never really had to ask him because I never felt the need to ask him. There was no indecision or confusion he left there for me to ask about. And if I asked him what he got in there for, he would let me know. Hey, well, I'll be out in such and such, and we'll have that conversation. So he's been trying to get out for a minute, but hopefully he'll be able to make it out for sure this time.
And when he was moved 3 times, it was all 3 times in Pennsylvania he was moved.
Absolutely.
Now, you visited him when you were younger. Have you visited him grown? As you characterize yourself, you're grown now.
I do.
Have you visited him as a grown person?
When I grew up and I flew out, yes, I do go visit him. I don't visit him as much, but I still go visit him. So majority of our conversations and our connections are over the phone. So we do a lot of phone calls. We do a lot of talking on the phone. We do a lot of stuff like that.
Has he physically seen your child?
He has. He's seen Samaya, and he's like so proud. He's so proud because, I mean, imagine seeing your daughter at 17. Let's just walk him through a journey real quick. Like, imagine losing your daughter at 2. I was with my father when he got locked up at 2. I just want to voice that because losing your daughter in the same day you lost your freedom, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. I want my child. I can imagine losing my child in the same day losing my child and my freedom. That's fucked up. So from losing your daughter and losing your freedom in the same day, and my father got locked up when he was 19. He wasn't that grown either. He 19. So at this point, he's trying to provide. He wasn't a shitty father. My father at 17 owned his own barbershop. He was already a businessman. So whatever he got tied up or locked up into, that will be yet to be discussed. But for right now, his position was, I'm 19 and I'm trying to provide. I lose my daughter and my freedom in the same day. I no longer feel like what I had. Now I have to rebuild. So in his situation, it was always acceptable for, it was always acknowledged that his pain was equivalent to mine. Let me clarify that because I think I want to give that question a little bit more detail.
Okay.
When he lost his freedom and his daughter, that's a different type of pain. And I know for a fact that if I lost my daughter being the mother that I am, I wouldn't be able to fathom that. So the pain was equivalent to him being locked up. There's nothing that I can crucify him for because he was in just as much pain. So seeing my daughter grow up, imagine how he feels. It's just like watching it all over again. So it can't be a conversation until it can be healed. And he's another black man trying to make it. So at this point, we can't crucify what's already been crucified. So I can't beat down a situation that's already broken, and I won't. That's my father. I won't.
Now, this is interesting. He was a teenage parent when you were born.
Yep. And
you were a teenage parent to your own child.
Yep.
Was that ever talked about between you two?
Yeah, that's what we connected. That's what he understood. It's value. That's what we understood. So now I can talk to my daughter because I understand what it feels like. And now I know you got it. And he encouraged me and he motivated me. And he said, hey, look, I know what this feel like. I know what you got to do, but you can't fold. And truth be told, I never did. My father was the first one to tell me he was proud of me. That made me happy. Like, what? That's my dad. I just love him. Like, what? I just love my daddy.
When it came to physically show your child to your father,
yeah,
is that something he asks, he wants to see, or is that something you take upon yourself to show him?
Of course he wants to see it. That's an extension of him. I'm his only daughter. That's his granddaughter. He got 2 girls. He look at it like he got 2 daughters. He don't look at it like that's my granddaughter. Like, this is my child, this is my child. His love is infinite.
Now, let's say somebody's watching this, and of course circumstances could be different for everybody.
Right.
But let's say somebody is dealing with a parent that is doing a serious bid in prison. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you would say to somebody watching this that's going through similar motions there? They have a parent just like you doing a long prison sentence.
I would say, because it's a lot of kids like me. It's a lot of kids like me. What I will say is if you do have parents that are doing a bit like that, try your best to be compassionate and understand it, because growing up as a child is inconsistent to understand why somebody wasn't physically there. So you go through a lot of emotions. You go through a lack of confidence. You go through a lack of, if somebody loves me, you go through trying to find that love through other people from that absence. So I would just say for people who are going through this, or people who probably will continue to go through this, is be compassionate enough not to beat yourself up about it, if that makes sense. Like, be compassionate enough to understand that it's not you, it's not your fault. And be compassionate enough to understand that life still goes on and you can still be who you are, whether that parent is absent or not. And it's not the end all be all for you. Find strength and courage in who you are and who you're going to become, whether that person is there or not. And don't think about it too much. Like, don't think about it too much, because it's a negative situation. Like, a lot of people go through it and they get so negative. Like, people be trying to, like, it gets really, really negative. It can get really, really dark because, again, I'm a female. And when that male protection is not there, that's what you run to. Like, damn, I'm not protected. As a woman, I'm not protected. Like, what am I going to do? Like, nobody's going to protect me. My dad is not here. Like, I don't feel that protection. So most importantly, just be compassionate and love on yourself and understand that's the only protection you need is the love that you develop within yourself and for yourself. And that's all I can give is my side. So my dad, he was beneficial. I don't know about everybody else's dad, but he was who he was. So he learned to love me and I learned to love him, non-physically.
What age was your child when you have her visit your father?
My child, she was young. She was like 2. She was like young. But I ain't gonna lie, I didn't take her back. I took her when she was 2, but I didn't take her back because when I was 6 and it hurt my feelings, I can only imagine how, because she doesn't understand it. You can't dissect that. Like, you feel like that's your daddy home. He over here buying me snacks. I'm thinking that's his dinner from his kitchen. Yeah, I was oblivious. I'm like, damn, like, my daddy got a whole kitchen. Like, like, you think this is his normal life. Like, you don't know that he can't come home with you. That's the fucked up part. Like, damn, the door's shut, and it'd be like, damn, like, he's not coming out. So I took her when she was 2, but I wouldn't take her again because I feel like that understanding is something that I can't really explain. I can't really explain how to break that down. So.
Very ironic, too. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Very ironic, too, that he gets taken at 2 years old, and when you show him your daughter, it was when she was 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how karma come back around, just like that. Boom, bam, bang.
This, you working at a barber shop, you mentioned he had a barber shop. Was this the same barber shop he had that you ended up working at, or no?
No. By the time I grew up, he had already got rid of the barber shop. So this was something he was doing previously before that. So you can only imagine when I start cutting hair and people find out about it, like, they just automatically feel like you're going to walk in your father's light. And it's just like, yeah, I got different dreams. But I'll take his load for right now. So making that transition, a lot of people did find that comparison that, hey, your daddy cut hair, you cut hair. It was cute.
Was that something you did on purpose because he had a barbershop, he was into cutting hair, so that was something that you took an initiative of because of that connection there, or just so happened you have interest in cutting hair?
I did take it for the connection because I did want to understand it. I wanted to understand it. So at first, again, that's just the process of going through longing for that protection or trying to figure out how to make that connection. And I felt like, okay, cool. He used to cut hair, I'm going to cut hair. And that was before I really just found out what I wanted to do for myself. So I did go try to make that connection, which I did get a little taste of it, but it just really wasn't my thing as much as it was his, so.
Who cuts hair better?
Me. Look, don't show my daddy, look. I cut hair better, okay? Nah, he the man, though. I ain't gonna lie, my daddy the man. I can't do no fade, so I guess he got me.
You still have a good relationship with your mother today?
I do. I have a great relationship with my mom. It hasn't always been easy. My mom has been rocky, but again, she raised 5 kids. That's a strong ass, damn, I can't even curse. That's a strong woman.
No, you can't curse.
That's a strong ass woman. My mom was a strong ass woman. Not a strong woman, but a strong ass woman. If I could say it in another word, strong ass woman. Like, she got a different type of way of raising us. And my mom, she taught us with survival skills. It was like instinct. It was instinct with my mama. Like, I ain't gonna front. I had 2 powerful parents. Now, I don't know how people want to perceive it, but I think I came out okay. So I just feel like overall, like, I'd rather be broke with a little bit of self-esteem and confidence, okay? Yeah, because, I mean, that's just what it was. Like, my mom, she did what she had to do. She had 5 kids. She raised them all by herself. We did a lot of shelters. We went from shelter to shelter. We went from home to home. We lived with a lot of people. Watched my mom go through different stages of raising 5 kids, being depressed, being a woman. Just in general, I watched the upside and the downside, and I've been appreciative of both. I remember where we just, At one point, like, we had to definitely start to fend for ourselves because my mom, even though she was doing the best that she can, it wasn't enough to really pay the bills. We did a lot of nights with the lights off. We did a lot of nights with the gas off. But in our mind, it was survival. It was survival. So everything was the benefit to help my mom, but it made us different people. Like, I ain't never really got nothing handed to me, so I don't know how to not be included in what I do. Only because everything that I've really done, I had to create. Literally, I walked in that barbershop not knowing how to cut hair, and I did it. I didn't know how to be a mom, and I did it. Like, and that's just me being honest. Like, you don't really know how to prepare to have a kid. You just have one. I started off as a singer. I turned into a rapper about 4 years ago because I decided that I was going to be fearless and I was just going to do it and I was just going to speak my truth. That's just it. Like, it take a certain consistency. It take a certain courage to be the way I am. That's just how I feel, and it came from nothing. So that's why I feel like I don't need no money now because I did it without money. So I'm okay with it.